Alright guys, we're going to do kind of a fun video. I've had some random questions come in, so I'm going to answer them. Ones I feel like answering. I haven't prepared for this. This is going to be off the top of my head, so this could get really good. Um, am I allocating my resources properly? I'm assuming they're asking, do I have people doing the jobs they need to be doing? Well, it's not too much into that. Um, but the thing of sourcing, one, finding people that are on the same game plan as you. I have a strong crew that work for me. I have a few that are on the day to day, you know, page with me that we talk daily. And there's me and one other guy who he's going to be taking over a business that he's been in for a while, and he's going to be managing and going, and getting ownership of it. Probably the next 2 years, the owner's retiring, so he'll be going to me. So either way, we're both kind of in the same thing, and we run things past each other. I was in the same field that he was in, and we run stuff back and forth. And so the biggest thing that we've talked about is putting the right people in the right place. I'm so busy, I miss phone calls. Well, he's able to grab phone calls. That's a lot of his job is grabbing phone calls. So me and him worked out a deal to put my work line through to him too. So it'll ring up my work line or it'll ring up his work line. So of course he crosses every now and then. He'll answer the wrong company, and they'll be like, no. But it happens. So he's better at on the phone stuff than, I'm good on the phone, but I'm just so busy that I'm just so many things going on. I miss the phone calls and he's able to grab those things for me. I've got another girl that deals with a lot of my payroll stuff. She's good with numbers. I'm okay. I can get it done, but I make mistakes, and so does she. But through it, we've been able to. And plus, that gave everybody. Now that I've got 9 different people working for me, when it comes to money, their pay, she deals with it. I pay her to deal with it. That's one thing on my plate that's gone. That, and the same way with the guy that takes the phone calls, he gets sales. He gets a sales bonus for it. He gets money for taking the phone calls and stuff like that. So when he's able to enter them in the system and get the proper stuff out where it needs to go. So delegating that stuff, for me, I've always been a route type person. We got close to 400 jobs we do a week, and routing has always been my thing. So being able to learn as I've brought somebody on what their hours are, when they can work, when they can't work, and motivating people. That's always been a real big thing with me. I learned that in the contracting business when I was doing cable. Is I always had these dispatchers that could always talk me into doing more work at 7, 8 o'clock at night when I'm ready to go home. And I learned a lot from them. Sweet talking people and getting them to do one more job, which our jobs are 7 to 10 minutes, but they're on our clock, so it's extra hours. And I get it. You want to go home, I get it. But like, just one more job. It's a real small yard. It's real simple. You just swing by there and knock it out real quick, and then head on back to the house. Take that extra 30 minutes of time. And so that's always been my strong point. And then the other girl that does the payroll, she's more in the HR department where she does a lot of my hiring, calling people, interviewing, anything HR related. She takes care of that for me to keep me somewhat in compliance. I'm going to have to get a CPA real soon. The numbers are getting really, really, really big. So I'm going to have to contract that out to a small CPA firm just to keep me in line and see where we can go from there. So I guess so that would be people working for me wise. Do I have people in the right positions? There's some things that, what I have set up works for the budget we're on. As we get bigger, I would like to move everything to one person. I would like that girl that's doing the HR payroll. I'd like for her to answer phones. I'd like to be able to pay her, a full salary every month to do that for me, when that time comes. But that's a different story. Are my resources? Yes and no towards financial stuff. Are all my bills being paid? Yeah. Has everybody got supplies? Yes. Is payroll being made? Yes. Everything runs just fine. We make profit every month. Money's being tucked away for vehicle breakdowns and different things that might happen. Advertising is, I don't have a marketing degree, and I don't have anybody on my team that has that. And I've thought about outsourcing marketing, but I'm not ready to outsource that because I do so good as it is. So I could finely tune a little bit better on the marketing money being spent. Because sometimes I'll just be like, well, crap, here's 100 yard signs for $1 a piece. I'll go and buy 100 to 200. I got 200 yard signs sitting at the house right now I have not put out. And my girlfriend is mad because there's 100 of them sitting in our living room. She's ready to get at me. She's like, these got to go. So I have that problem of ordering marketing stuff and then never distributing it. I've got calendars sitting here that are supposed to go for events that never made it out. We did Christmas cards the last couple of years. I've got Christmas cards that, only half the customers got. So, there's ends of pieces that I need to tighten up. Somebody asked if my business is scalable. Yeah, it is. There's people out there that they franchised their self into other towns that they're making a lot of money off of royalties. For what we're doing, 3 years. I mean, we're close to $250,000 a year after 3 years, so we're doing pretty good. My payroll is only about half of that, so that's a good sign. And then, my marketing, I used to know that number, but it fluctuates every month. We've cut back because of the corona. With everybody paying their bills and auto pay, we've had to slow down. So, but that does make it a little difficult doing what I do. Let's see, is word of mouth working to your advantage? Yes. With what we do, some people are kind of like, yeah, we got a pet waste removal company that comes and gets our poop. But I always love it when I go to somebody's houses and their friends and family are over and they're like, wait, you have somebody that scoops your poop? And they're like, oh yeah, they come out every week and they pick it up for us. And, like, yeah, 13, they're like, oh, and they'll ask, like, how much do you pay? And they're like, $13. And they'll ask me, like, hey, I got 2 dogs. How much for 2 dogs? I'm like, that's $15 a week. There's a small initial fee to start, but, and then sometimes I'll sign them up right there. I'm like, I can get you signed up right now, And so I'll open up the web-based app and get all their information and send them the stuff and get them on a schedule. Sometimes they'll be like, you got a card? I was like, here. Sometimes I'll be like, I don't have the cards on me, but here, pull up your Facebook, go to Derby Scoop, hit like. I said, there you go. I said, here's all of our rates. And, word of mouth is pretty big. I would say really big because, and that's, I've always told everybody that works for me, I'd rather you spend a few extra minutes in that yard and get it right than us get, oh, well, he blew through the yard and didn't, I mean, we're there to do a job. I pay everybody hourly. If you got to take a few extra minutes, take a few extra minutes. But word of mouth, like that's my thing. And so here, a little small story is the girl I started dating a year ago. She, we met online, of course, and she's like, what do you do? I was like, well, I own a small business here in town, She's like, oh, okay, And she's like, what do you do? And I was like, well, I own a pet waste management company. She's like, oh. We just talked, and she's like, is it lucrative? And I was like, yeah, I make my money. I pay my bills, put a little bit back. I got a couple people that work for me, we're doing okay, And then we met at a restaurant, and she saw the Magnus car, and she's like, "Oh, you were for real?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was for real." And so we had our date. We clicked and we talked for hours, and the restaurant was pretty much closing, so we went outside and stopped and talked. And well, somebody from the business next doors actually came out over to me to talk to me about it, and I signed him up. And she looked at me and she's like, "Is it like that?" And I said, "Yeah, it's like that." I was like, "There's only 3 of us in town. Well, 2. Yeah, because I'd already taken over Jason's company. So yeah, there was only 2 now. There was only me and one other guy. And but I said, yeah. I said, people come up to you. And I said, I told her, I said, look, I said, I like you, and if you want to go on, a few more dates and let's see what we can work out. That's cool. I'd like to see you again. And I said, but understand, I said, when you tell your friends what I do, they're going to question you. And so she's like, yeah, because I have questions. So we spent an hour just me going over stuff with her, just showing her, because the problem is if you put yourself self-employed on a dating profile, that means you're a drug dealer. So, and so word of mouth was, she told one of her best friends, she's like, yeah, he owns Derby City Poop Scoop. And she was like, oh yeah, I've seen their magnets around. And she's like, for real? And like, but luckily she never really cared about the money, but, she cares that I'm successful, and that we keep progressing, because obviously this is my full-time job now. This is how I pay my bills. So word of mouth is everything. People are, with what I do, people do say, well, I still get people to tell me, you'll never make any money. You'll never make any money. That's a stupid idea. I say, $250,000 a year says it ain't a stupid idea. And it keeps growing. So, and I've learned a few things. I don't like to show the money I have. I've gotten a lot of my debt paid off. I'm able to, invest in stocks and dividends, and, I've got money stashed in different places, and, and I wear t-shirts and blue jeans just like everybody else. I don't even own a suit. I've never owned a suit. I'm not a guy that goes to these big network meetings and networks with all these business people. That's just not me. I was watching Blue Collar Millionaires on CSNBC, and the guy was a diesel mechanic or something, and he says, oh yeah, I still get, he's, a multi-millionaire now. And because, he just happened to get the right contracts, and he worked his ass off, and he does the big diesel generators that do the oil wells out in Texas and Florida and the Gulf and all that. He said the basic one there starts at $60,000 and goes up to $200,000 for a basic maintenance and repair. He said, I love those. He's like, those come in all the time. He said, but he says, and I can't remember exactly how he said it, but something like, he's like, oh yeah, they make fun of me for what I do. He's like, but they never see my checking account. So word of mouth is, so that person now has said, oh, that's a dumb, stupid idea. But then who are they telling that idea to? Here they are sitting at the restaurant. They're like, oh yeah, there was this dumb idiot. He's got a pet waste removal business. He's scooping dog poop. Well, look at all the people he's going to tell, because it sounds stupid. But is it stupid? It's not a desirable job. Daddy always told me. My dad always said, do something that nobody else wants to do and do it the best. Nobody wants to scoop their dog poop. How do you mess it up? Which I've had a few people work for me that just couldn't scoop dog poop. I don't understand. Like, it's not that hard of a concept, but but people talk. Your reputation gets out there. Luckily, I've lived in this same area for about the last 20 years, so a lot of people know me from doing cable. They've seen me around town, they know me, so that's a good plus. But yeah, word of mouth is big, and once you get somebody start bad tasting you, bad mouth or something bad, it can go down very quickly. So I tread lightly. If a customer is not working out, I'll, let them know that, hey, this isn't working for you or for me, so we're just going to refund your money and, let you have, if you want to call the other company, here's their number. You're more than welcome to call them. A lot of them actually came back, but either way, are your employees obedient or committed? Obedient's a strong word. I don't know if I'd use obedient. I mean, they get a route. They do the same route every week on the same day. As long as you do your job, I don't micromanage you. Go out, do your route, go home. Are they committed? They show up. I rarely ever get anybody that calls out. So as committed would be, I've got a few that are super committed, like like the guy I was telling you about that's going to be taking over this other company, and he's super committed. Just Monday, he worked all day long, and then I had a girl that called in sick. He went out and did her route at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and knocked out about 10 of her jobs to help me out. That's committed. He loves the money. And, he knows when he takes over this company, I'm going to have his back. So, between the two of us, we've got each other's backs, So when he runs into a bind and he needs help, he knows I'll get out there and I'll help him with what he needs. So I have a few that are super committed. I have a few that are, I'd say they're all committed. Obedient, I don't like that word, but yeah, I mean, they do what they're supposed to do. There's a little bit every now and then. Let's see what the other questions were. I'm just picking out some good ones here because this video is getting long. Do you spend more time lighting fires or putting them out? I put out a lot. Not that many. So putting fires out for us would be customers calling and complaining. A lot of that, it's just a super nice email or, on the phone saying, hey, I apologize. I'm not sure what's going on. I was like, let me get with your scooper. We can come back out because we do a rescoop guarantee. I was like, I can get him back out there tomorrow to rescoop it. Just let me know what areas that were missed. If there was any areas, and we go over the notes on the account to see if anything needs to be changed. Because sometimes that's what it is. Like, oh, they went in the mulch. Well, it doesn't say anything about the mulch on your account. So he might have not been checking the mulch the entire time. And I apologize for that. And if they're still a little grumpy, I'll offer them, half off, and then, and sometimes depending on where the yard is, I'll tell them, hey, look, I apologize. I can make the note, I'll give you half off this scoop and we'll make sure, we get everything next week. Most people are understanding. I would say about 99% are, hey, it's dog poop. They're not too worried about it. But I put out a few of those flames a month. As a business owner, what are your top 3 priorities? Stay focused. 100%. Because if you don't stay focused, there's so many pieces of the puzzle. It'll do this. Be honest. Say what you're going to do what you're going to say. And I don't know if it's a priority, but I make sure the customer's first before money. And I know a lot of people are like, no, don't do that. You're going to screwed. You're going to screwed. You're going to screwed. I've had pretty good success rate. I've gotten screwed a few times, on things that I've let go longer than I should have. That's just me. That's failure on my half of not keeping up with accounts. That's why I brought people in to look at the accounts and make sure they're caught up because, I want to help everybody I can, but, I worry about the money after the job is done. That's that. But I'm going to end this video because I'm getting tired. It's late. And I will talk to everybody later. Don't forget to like some of these videos.